Basement of La Penta, it's WICR.
Hello, Iona College. Jersey Joe and Big Shot Rob rolling back with the Sports Vault. Just did our college football overview of the weekend, our top 5 teams. A lot of good stuff in college football. Can't get enough of talking that stuff. But the NBA is also here, and I have been having a blast watching these games. It's so good to have the season back in action. And Rob, we've had a pretty good weekend of the NBA. I mean, the Cleveland Cavaliers, got to watch them a couple times. You had some big extensions also. So the first extension to go over is Klay Thompson of the Golden State Warriors. Now, obviously, this has been a long time coming. In the summer, his name came up a lot. I mean, the Warriors were in the conversation with the Kevin Love trade, but the Warriors were unwilling to part with him, and I always thought that was definitely a deal breaker. You would possibly at the last minute, the Kings putting together a potential bid for him, but let's be honest, they were not willing to trade DeMarcus Cousins or Rudy Gay. There's no way you're trading Klay Thompson for anything less than one of those at least. So Klay Thompson, he gets his money. I think it's a good deal. I mean, the extension's about a 4-year deal, coming close to $70 million. The big thing for Klay Thompson for me is him and Steph. I love the combination there, but Klay has about the picture-perfect three-point shooting. I mean, if I was trying to teach people how to shoot a three-pointer, fundamentally, he's just perfect. I mean, and the thing I like more about him is he's getting better defensively. Still has a lot of work to do on that end, but that he's getting better. And I mean, even last night, I mean, you see with him, he's earning his money because Saturday against the Lakers, 41 points. Last night against the Trailblazers, 29 points. A big shot at the end of the game, a big steal after that. So Klay Thompson's a guy who I like his mindset. He's a team-first guy, a smart player. And I mean, he's just such a good three-point shooter. I mean, I know Klay is good as well, but Steph is good as well, but Klay's just got the perfect mechanics. When he shoots threes, it's just art to watch. It really is.
Oh, Joe, he is explosive. This guy can knock down any kind of shot. Just a great deal. I think he's a key part for this team as they continue to move forward. They're improving this team. One thing I had to say, though, that I've been liking lately about Klay Thompson is his defense is getting better. We saw on Saturday night versus Kobe Bryant. Kobe dominated that whole third period, and then the fourth quarter, Klay held him to 1 point, and he did such a tremendous job. I think that Klay Thompson, by signing this deal, I think there's a key piece that they had to sign right now. This Golden State team, watch out for them. Steph Curry and Klay Thompson, they will destroy you. These guys are the sharpest shooters, and Klay Thompson, by locking him into this new deal, you have one of the best shooters in the game right now.
Absolutely, and the big thing for the Warriors is and always will be defense. They've got to get it done on the defensive end. Offensively, they could compete with anybody. They could score against anybody. They've got to build that defensive mindset. I think Steve Kerr looks like they're off to a very good start. But here's a question, Rob. How's the first week of the season been for you? I've watched a lot. I mean, I got to catch both Cavaliers games. I watched all 3 of the Miami Heat's first games. I got to watch a little bit of the Charlotte Hornets against the Knicks and then their opening game against the Bucks. But what about for you? How has the first week of the season been?
It's been excellent. I watched the Cavaliers-Bulls game. I caught the Cavaliers-Knicks game. I've been watching a lot of the Lakers games late at night. And a lot of these teams, like the Dallas Mavericks, has one team that's been very impressive. We look to opening night. They lose to the Spurs by 1 point, bounce back, won their last 2 games. Chandler Parsons has played great. The whole team's been playing great. One thing that I haven't been so crazy about with the Lakers, though, is
poor Lakers
defensive skills.
Yeah.
Kobe Bryant is breaking his back, putting on performance after performance, averaging 24 points a game at 36 years old, Joe. And a lot of people said Kobe wouldn't be able to do this. Played 35 minutes a couple nights ago versus the Warriors. This guy is impressive. And it's just sad for me because I guess growing up watching Kobe Bryant, you've watched the Lakers teams dominate. And just to see where it's fallen, where Kobe has nobody around him, just loses Julius Randle to a broken leg opening night. Carlos Boozer, he's going to help out, but it's not going to be like he's a dominant power forward. And he doesn't have a point guard that you could say he could go to like Derek Fisher. He has Jeremy Lin.
Look, the Lakers stink. There's no other way around it. I mean, Kobe is going to do what he can. He's carrying this team, but they're just not a good team. The roster's not good. There's nothing good about the Lakers team. I mean, look, Carlos Boozer, Jeremy Lin, come on. I mean, at the end of the day, it's rough. It's a rough time. And even for me, I mean, I know you'd never do it and you never could because Kobe's a Laker there, but I mean, there's going to be a point where I would even consider trading the guy. I mean, they never will just because of what he's done, but at the end of the day, where are you going? You're not going anywhere right now. Kobe's got, 2 years left of playing at a really, really, playing still relatively well. Kobe's got 2 years left. I don't know where this Lakers team's going. I really don't.
Could you see him requesting out? Do you see that at all? Like with
That's
Kobe?
what I was thinking is, I don't know. I don't know, because Kobe's a guy, you know his mindset. I mean, wins or not is all that matters. So I don't know if I could see him ever forcing his way out. I would see that hard to believe. But at the end of the day, I mean, the Lakers organization, if you want to make a good move, why not trade him to a team who really could use him right now, a playoff contender? You take the draft pick. I mean, you've got to rebuild right now. That's all you can do.
Yeah, especially if you were to trade Kobe, you at least get a first-round pick from one team.
Oh, absolutely.
And you look at it now, Joe, with the trades they made for Dwight Howard and Steve Nash over the last couple of years, they don't have first-round picks now. They don't have a first-round pick this year. Julius Randle is going to be their last first-round pick for a while right now, and that's one thing that's really going to cause this Lakers team to suffer. So I think eventually the frustrations are going to build up with Kobe Bryant, and you eventually have to trade him away. You have to get some kind of prospect if you want to improve this Lakers team.
You have to. I mean, and let's go to this next team, the Oklahoma City Thunder. I mean, they probably wouldn't trade them in the West, trade them to a team in the West, probably to a team in the East. But still, I mean, you look at a team like the Thunder, what do they do? What's going on? I mean, Russell Westbrook now is going to be out as well, so you have Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook probably going to be out for the first first month of the season, and there's just no depth there. I mean, we see Perry Jones. Perry Jones, for people who don't remember, came out of Baylor. He was a very good player in college, but where's the depth with the Oklahoma City Thunder? And I mean, the big thing, Rob, is you look at a team like the Thunder. If they start to fall behind in the West, you're going to be trouble coming back because the West is as deep as it can be. The Thunder, I'm a little worried right now.
I'm completely worried. In the West, Joe, it's not like the East where you could go win 36 games. Oh, I claimed the 8th seed. In the West, you have to win at least 50-plus games. And with Durant and Westbrook out, this Thunder team really is going to suffer. Yes, Perry Jones been playing great, but what do you go to after Perry Jones? You sign Anthony Morrow in the offseason. I think he's a great sharpshooter, but he's not the kind of depth you need. It's not like you have like Kevin Martin. Kevin Martin, I think, was a piece they should have kept for this team. But there really is no depth to go to. Who do you go to? Ibaka? Kendrick Perkins? You don't have that main scorer on the court right now. And without that, the Thunder are going to suffer. And I'm really worried about what seed they could end up with, because with these two guys out the first month, how long are the Thunder going to last? How long is Perry Jones going to be playing the way he's been playing? Yes, I know he's been scoring so much, but is he going to be consistent with it?
And that's only been 2 games. There's still a lot. I mean, we need to really see. I mean, if this is just a 2-game spurt, or is he going to be able to continue this for a month? Because this month is going to be really big for the Thunder when they come back. Because if you're in the East, you could recover from this, like you were saying. The West is just too. I mean, teams like Portland, teams like the Warriors, teams like the Suns, they're not going to take their foot off the gas pedal because they can't. Teams like the Grizzlies, teams like the Mavericks, there's no room to breathe. You have to just continue to just push forward for any team in the West. The Thunder in a little bit of trouble now. Now, while we wrap down the NBA to get to some NFL to finish it off, I got to give a lot of credit to the Miami Heat. I know so many people in the offseason, when LeBron left, they just all threw this team away. They all just dismissed the Heat. Let me tell you, folks, after watching the first 3 games for the Miami Heat, they're a good basketball team still, and they're going to win a lot of games this year. You just look at this team, how it's built. They still commit to the ball movement. They still are sound defensively. They're well coached. They have good depth in point guards. I mean, they have 3 point guards who really can play. Shabazz Napier, Norris Cole, Mario Chalmers. All 3 of them really can play. They rebound the ball much better. We saw with LeBron, there was really no room for any centers, any big men there, so they were the worst team in rebounding in the NBA the last 2 years. You have Sean Williams now. He's doing a better job rebounding the ball. Chris Bosh has just been outstanding. He's been the real winner from this all. I mean, we're really seeing Chris Bosh really return to that superstar, perennial all-star form we were so used to seeing with Toronto. I mean, he's just such a dynamic player. He plays well at the rim. He rebounds the ball. He's a threat to shoot from the perimeter. Chris Bosh is really going to have a good year. And I think, look, Dwayne Wade is definitely a question mark there with his health, but he's played well in the first 3 games. If he can sustain it, he's rapidly declined before our eyes. But I like this Heat team a lot. There's no question in my mind that they are a 3rd or 4th seed at least in the East. The rest of the East stinks. They should absolutely be able to get the 3rd or the 4th seed.
Oh, most definitely, Joe. Chris Bosh has really impressed me. When I watched him in his days in Toronto, I always thought, oh, he's the main part of this team. That's why he scores so many points. He takes so many shots. But you look at him now with Miami. LeBron's gone. We've looked what he could do on the rebounding, how he's been scoring, done such a great job. My question to you right now, Joe, is if Miami is to play Cleveland, I know it's early in the season, but if you see them playing in the playoffs, do you think it's going to be a 7-game fight out of these two teams?
Wow. And, it's funny. I was thinking about that the other day too. How great of a Eastern Conference Finals would that be? Heat, Cavs. Oh, that would be beautiful. But I don't know. That's an interesting dynamic because I think you got to give depth in favor of the Cavs just because of everything they have. But, I mean, look, when you have Chris Bosh and depending on how Dwayne Wade is healthy and Luol Deng, that's a good big 3. And the big thing about the Heat is experience. I mean, we even saw in the game the other day against the Bulls, Kyrie Irving asking Mike Miller, is this what a playoff game feels like? Now, look, that's a big game, but that's not a playoff game. So I think at the end of the day, it's all experience. I think the Heat would make it very interesting. I do. I think at the end of the day, talent would win in that series, and the Cavs definitely have more talent. But I think experience, you can't throw that away from the Heat. Chris Bosh and Wade, even guys like Norris Cole, have been there before. They know what that atmosphere feels like. I think guys like Kyrie Irving, Kevin Love still don't. A lot of these guys on Cleveland, Dion Waiters, Tristan Thompson, they don't know what it feels like to be in that scenario yet. So I think that would definitely be something interesting. But, man, I would love that. That would be terrific.
I think it would be one of the best series we get to watch, especially, it would be awesome if you get to see the Cavs play the Heat, they beat them, and then you get to see them play the Bulls. The Eastern Conference playoffs would be just amazing to me.
Definitely better than they would be last year with the Pacers, everything that happened there, barely getting by. The last thing in basketball I want to touch up on is the New York Knicks. Now, I haven't watched a ton of the Knicks. I've watched pieces of them. I watched a lot more Heat and Cavs basketball. But when I watched the Knicks, I mean, you see there's traces where the ball movement is there. There's definitely principles of the triangle that's trying to be instituted. There's a commitment to the ball movement. It's just not consistent. I mean, you see it. We were talking to Ben Zeno here, one of the biggest Knicks fans you'll ever find, and I think he put it best. The ball movement is the triangle, the ball movement, it's there and it's not. A lot of times I think that's definitely true. I mean, you see even guys like Carmelo, they're trying to pass the ball, and then when things start to get a little sticky, they return to that isolation play. So it's difficult because I think it's so difficult to kind of transform a player from what he's done his whole career. But you see the Knicks, there is traces there. It's just going to be consistency. Can they really start to really just hammer it into themselves and really buy in and do it on a consistent basis?
Yeah, Joe, the triangle, this team has to work well with it. I've seen a lot, as you said, with Carmelo, Joe. He's gone into a lot of isolation in games, kind of messing up the triangle a bit. One person I have to say, though, has impressed me is J.R. Smith with his passing in the triangle. I felt he's become better with that. More of, I'm not taking that shot like I used to where I had to force 20 shots a game. More of, I know where to pass it now. One person, though, you have to give credit to for the New York Knicks is Shane Larkin. Called in this week. Jose Calderon goes down with the injury. Hasn't been able to play for opening day since now. And Shane Larkin really has filled in that role. Great trade by Phil Jackson, in my opinion. When you look at Larkin last year on the Mavericks, they really didn't have a spot for him on that roster. Had to bring him down to the D-League just so the guy would get to play because he couldn't play with that roster because not enough room for him. And now what he's done with the Knicks, I think he's going to be great. And with Jose Calderon as his starting point guard, he's going to learn a lot from him.
I agree. I mean, from what I've watched too, Larkins had played very well. He really has, and it's big for the Knicks because they need a point guard to really help keep the ball out of Carmelo's hands, so he doesn't really just be a ball stopper. And I think last year that was a big thing. They really didn't have a consistent point guard keeping the ball out of Melo's hands. And I think right now, Larkin, I definitely like what I see at him. So we're going to move along now. Touched a lot on the NBA. The Cleveland Cavaliers return to action against the Portland Trailblazers. I'll be all in for that. A tough West Coast trip coming up for the Cavs. But moving along to the NFL, we will get there when we come back, so stay with us.
WICR presents